Hello everyone, it's Malay back with another wrapping tutorial. Today I'm going to be doing one of my faves, the Beng Kung. So as you can see, I have it folded up like this in this neat little package. And it's very long. They usually come in about 17 to 20 yards, possibly more, length of fabric. So very long because you're wrapping multiple times around your body, usually from the mons pubis to the bottom of your rib cage, right under your breasts. And so that takes a lot of fabric, and depending on, it's usually used postpartum, so our bodies don't just go right back to their pre-pregnancy size, if ever, because our bodies change when we have babies. So you still need, a lot of fabric to cover yourself with this technique. It does take a bit of practice. I highly recommend, if you can find a doula or postpartum caretaker in your area who knows how to use a Beng Kung, that they come to your home and wrap you first and show you how to do it. That's how I was taught. I was very blessed and grateful to have a doula in my area who was able to do that after my second pregnancy. So she was able, she came to my home, with my I was about 3 days postpartum with my daughter, and she wrapped me up the first time, and then she came back, it was either the next day or day after, right, to wrap me, to show me how to wrap myself, right, for the future. So I've been doing it ever since. I used this during pregnancy as well. When I was pregnant with my third child, I would use it to lift and support my my abdomen, right, the abdominal muscles, my hips, my back. It really provides great support when you're pregnant, and obviously you're not wrapping it as tightly, but it's good support when you're pregnant. And then I also used it again postpartum after I had that baby, and I really like using it during my menses, right, when I'm bleeding. So I will use it generally sometimes the first day or two. It really depends how I'm feeling, but if anything, I will definitely use it once I'm done bleeding, right, like the last day of my bleed or the day after. I use it to help my body kind of realign again, right, because our bodies do open up a little bit when we're bleeding, kind of like giving birth. It's very similar, right? Your body's opening up to bleed. So I also use it for that. Very healing. It's a big hug, that you can give yourself, and it's great. I can't say enough about the Beng Kung, because it's such a great healing tool, and pretty accessible, honestly. Like, you could go to a fabric store and just pick a length of any type of cotton or muslin material that you like, and go from there. Like, it really doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to purchase from a retailer or doula if you're not able to afford that. So options, yeah. I know some people who have used sheets, like bed sheets, like that's what and when our ancestors were enslaved, that's what granny midwives would use, was cut up bed sheets to wrap and support women postpartum. So lots of options. Use what you can, right? Do what you can with what you have. All right, so starting off, we're gonna unwrap it a little bit. It's very long, very long. So I like to just put it on the floor in front of me, and we start off with, mine was, unfortunately, it's ripped because I've used it so much, and I need to fix that, but it's still completely usable. I adjust to that, but my wrap came with two different types of fabric, if you can see. So this is the main wrap, and then this is the part that I tie, right, that I use to tie it with. So what I do, this is how I was taught, this is how I do it. Obviously you can adjust. There are other videos on YouTube of people, showing you how to use a Beng Kung, but it's very hard to find videos with women of color, honestly. So just adding, my knowledge to what's available. All right, so you want it to be as wide as the fabric can go, right, all all around. You want to bring whatever length you're going to use to wrap it, right? Put on your dominant, whatever your dominant hand is. I actually put it on my left side, which is not my dominant hand, but that's what works for me. Okay, so this, you should have the bottom of the fabric hitting your tailbone, just about. So sitting low, right, low on your hips, because this first one, you want to be sitting right on your mons pubis, your pubic bone. Okay, so, all right. So then you take it, you have it flat right on your pubic bone and your tailbone in the back. And what you're gonna do is take this, wrap it around once, get it as tight as you can, and then wrap it around twice to keep it secure. Just the first knot, we're gonna wrap twice like this. All right. And this is a process. This takes time, and this is quite a lengthy self-care tool. But if you're able to get baby down for a nap, or have somebody watch baby while you do this, or have somebody help you do this, right? Maybe while you hold baby, that also works. Yeah, this is one of those things that it's going to take time. It's not convenient or quick. So yeah. All right. So we got this first one. Now we're going to take this, make sure it's flat. And I know I put it in my teeth. It's more convenient for me. I know people who hold it between their legs while they're wrapping. So whatever is more comfortable for you, whatever is more convenient, whatever you like, honestly, it's not a big deal. Okay, so again, you want to make sure that these are flat as possible, and we're going to be overlapping. You can see, we're going to be overlapping, so not quite where, the edge of this one is, but pretty close. We're going to be overlapping to create the support that we're trying to get for our pelvic region, our hips, our back. Okay, and then make sure, go around again. Like I said, this is time intensive. This is not a quick fix. Because this is something, if you are doing this postpartum, something that you should be doing daily, if not every other day, to help aid in your healing process. As you can see, yeah, I'm almost at 10 minutes just making this. Okay. So, okay, I don't know if you guys saw that, so let me do it again real slow. Okay. So I was holding this end, I tighten this, make sure it's nice and tight, snug, not like crushing you, but very snug. You want it very snug, like a big warm hug. Okay, and then you hold it, where you've tightened it. Take this over, and you're just gonna wrap it around. Just wrap it around once. Okay, and then we do it again. I'm going to show you as we go around, making sure it's overlapping, and okay. Making sure it's overlapping again. And a good rule of thumb I heard and try to keep in mind is you should have this wrap around you at least 10 times from the pelvic region to the bottom of your rib cage. You can be naked when you do this. I recommend wearing either a very long house dress, like a maxi dress or something, like your sundress, something like that, or like yoga pants and a tank top or cami when you wrap this for one, easy boob access, and a dress works a little better for using the bathroom, because otherwise you're going to have to be figuring out how to take your pants on and off while you do this. I'm wearing a jumper while I do this, but it's just for me, as for demonstration purposes. It's just easier for me to be wearing this while I do this. All right, so wrap it again. I'm actually going to put that down so you guys can hear me. All right. So, one more time around. And you see, I'm just going a little bit higher. Just a little, like, not even half an inch higher each time to get that evenly distributed support, right? You want it to... You don't want it to be too tight. You don't want it to be suffocating you. You just want even support all around. Okay, so make sure you tighten, and it's similar to baby wearing, right? In that you can tighten the bottom and top rails like this, if you're familiar with that terminology in wrapping for baby wearing. Okay, so actually, there we go. And just feel it out. Yeah, feel it out. Okay, there we go. And around again. Like I said, just going a little bit higher each time. It's okay if they overlap. It's okay if they overlap completely. That's 100% okay. Like I said, we're trying to get even support all throughout. I personally, like I said, this is how I was taught, so that's what I'm showing y'all. However, I do know some doulas that do a side tie, right? So instead of in the front wrapping, like how I'm doing, if you can see this lovely trail of knots, right, that we're leaving. I know that some people teach it where you do this on the side instead. So up to you. I've never tried that method. Like I said, this is just what I'm used to. This is how I was taught, so this is the way that I do it. But if you want to try it out where you're tying it on the side and that works better for you, is more comfortable or whatever, go for it. Please tell me in the comments, you know, how you like that, if that works better for you, if it's easier for you to tie. Yeah, I've never tried it. I was very intrigued when I saw that method. I was like, is this like for a different, does it have a different result or, you know, better benefits? And they were like, no, it's just an easier way for some people to wrap. So again, I don't know if you can see that. I know it's hard to see in my video, but just, you know, just a little bit higher. Again, one more time. Just slowly making our way up. All right. And it'll start trying to bend on you when you do get to the rib area. It's normal. Just go as tight as you can. Again, feeling out the rails, pulling those as tight as snugly snugly as you can. Again, like, this should not be squeezing you. This is not a waist trainer. I mean, in a sense it is, but it's not like a corset, right? It should not be so tight that you cannot breathe or feel uncomfortable. That's not the point of this. This is supportive, right? And has nothing to do with snapping back. It's for your health. Okay. And I think I can get in about 2 more of these before I have to wrap it up. Puns are my favorite. Okay. And okay, one more. I think I'm gonna do one more to get right on my rib. Maybe 2. We'll see. Let's see what I can fit. Alright. And I'm gonna do one more, so I'm hitting right at the bottom of my rib cage. Okay, you see, we've reached the end. So I could maybe do one more time, but I really feel good with this. So what you can do here is knot it like this and then just bring it around to the back or the side over here, and just tie it like that, and then tuck it in if you want. Some people, if you have enough extra, you can actually wrap your breasts with it as well, with both ends. I'm not sure why this rail, there we go. The rail was not cooperating. You know, we can do like this and wrap like that. Yeah, I personally, I usually just tie it like this, usually, nothing fancy, and then just tuck it in, like that. So yeah, it's okay if there's, you know, some gaps. Just go through and feel it out, you know, kind of make sure that each rail, right, let's see, in the back, I'm just going through and making sure it's all evenly dispersed and distributed. Make sure we untie this, because again, a lot of people complain about how it, you know, it doesn't stay flat, right, where it can move, or you know, where it slides down, that kind of thing, and that's normal. Honestly, I would have to adjust mine throughout the day, because it should be worn between, I'd say, for best results, 6 to 10 hours a day. So when you get up in the morning, when you are finally out of bed postpartum, when you get up, make this part of your morning routine. Wear it throughout the day and then take it off before bed. I actually have found that for like bleeding, for my menses, I enjoy wearing it at night after a good stretch, some yoga. I'll put this on and sleep in it and then take it off in the morning, and it feels amazing. Yeah, so that's it. As you can see, it's not pulling in my waist or anything like that. This is still my natural shape. It's just providing a lot of back support though. You can feel it in your hips right here. And it feels really good. It just feels like a big old hug. So yeah, like I said, you can, you still see my belly, and you can use it while you're pregnant as well for that added abdominal muscle support, and back and hip support while you're pregnant, and that feels great. So yeah, thanks for joining me, and I hope you learned something.